Oh my goodness, it looks like my yarrow is blooming. Oh, I got to do so much studying on my flowers so I can share about them. I just planted this one last year. I got it off of Etsy. Here is my yarrow little moonshine. It's newly planted and I put it in 2 spots. I planted it last fall so it doesn't have a lot to it because it was a very small piece, but it's grown a lot. So this allium behind this yarrow is quite pretty. They're blooming at the same time. This is the other patch of my little moonshine yarrow. I've got some lemon balm there. It's kind of fun to look at it from the top down. It's got tons of tiny little flowers. It's got tons of tiny little flowers. The scientific name is Achillea millefolium. Don't know why I always have trouble with the word Achillea. I need to say it several times. And millefolium. And it's from the Asteraceae, or the daisy or sunflower family, which it doesn't look like a sunflower to me. So I'll talk about the meaning of Achillea later, but millefolium means 1,000 leaf because the plant is deeply divided fern-like foliage. Let's look at the foliage. It is fern-like, and that's one of the things that I really like about this plant. So look at the deeply divided all the way down to the stem. So that's where the species name comes from. And the foliage actually goes all the way up the stem. I have several varieties, but they're fairly new to my garden. I have a Yarrow Sassy Summer Taffy, which is taller, 26 to 36 inches. We'll have to look at that. It blooms early to late summer. Now my tag for that one showed pink, but mine comes up more yellow-orange. But one of the things about yarrow is that it starts out a bright color like this, and then it gets lighter. And so that one I think may start out peachy, which really isn't pink, and turn to orange. I'll have to look for these. I have a Yarrow Tutti Fruity Apricot Delight, which is a smaller height of 18 to 24 inches, but it doesn't bloom till mid-summer or mid-fall. So I like that I can have color throughout the year. And this one is Achillea tagetii. It's a hybrid called Yellow Little Moonshine, and it only gets a height to 12 to 14 inches, so it's considered a dwarf. And I absolutely love the size of it. I would love to see a pink one next to it. Of course, it's a bright, sunny yellow. So yarrow tolerates poor soil and hot summers. Absolutely love that. And the flowers are dense. Of course, mine's not dense because it was one little bitty thing I planted last year. I got it off of Etsy. The flowers can be cut and used as cut flowers. Here it is, budding out before it blooms. So the flowers are dense and flat corms. So I guess when I was saying one, if you look at the top, it's very flat. And it's a corum. It makes me think of a beehive. I don't know why that word makes me think of that. But you see, they're not too much on the sides. They're flat on the top, so they're best if you're looking down upon them. But I don't know. They look pretty good like this too. After the first bloom, you tidy it up and encourage it to bloom more by cutting the stems back. So just the stems, just this here, that's been blooming. Dividing the clumps every 2 to 3 years helps it keep the plant looking alive. I have one that I'm going to need to divide soon. It will naturalize and spread with rhizomes and by seeds. So rhizomes are in the ground and they kind of spread like runners. Some say this is considered an aggressive weed and they wouldn't have it in their yard. It's fairly new to me. I can't say that I've experienced that. Maybe if it goes to seed and the seed blows, the birds transport it, I could see that. But just by the spreading of rhizomes, I feel like it's very controllable. Yarrow has a licorice-like aroma similar to anise. Now, I'm not a big anise fan, but my grandma was. It's naturally sweet with a bitter finish. And Native Americans made a yarrow tea, which was used to help stomach problems, fever, and to get a restful sleep. Yarrow is related in the family group to chamomile. That's interesting. Native Americans also used it to break fever, soothe a rash, stop bleeding, or for stomach aches. Leaves and flowers can be dried and ground into a spice, although it does not stand up to heat and should be added at the end of cooking. It can be a mild laxative too, so be careful. I'm not sure I really want to make a tea with yarrow. I could be brave. Yarrow is toxic to pets and such as dogs and cats and horses. It causes increased urination, vomiting, diarrhea, and dermatitis. But yet, humans drink it as a tea or a dried spice. I'm not so sure if it's so harmful for dogs that I want it. But you see it listed on a bunch of health food sites. Somehow that just makes me happy. Okay, check this out. This is the Tutti Frutti variety, and it started not long before the Moonshine variety, and it is much taller. That's what I noticed about the varieties, and I'm okay with this height. And it's got buds on it. So I am going to wait for it to bloom and come back and share with you what it does. I've got it right in front of a moss phlox. Now, this is my sassy summer taffy. I had it a whole year before the others, or 2 years, and look how large it has gotten. I need to divide it. It shows no signs of blooming, but I think this might be a later bloomer. And I love that I can get different varieties of yarrow, and they bloom different times throughout my garden. I am absolutely loving this new yarrow. I got it off Etsy, and it was so small last autumn when I planted it. But look at it now. It's a Tutti Frutti Apricot Delight, I believe is what I just read. And look at it. Look at the tons of blooms. And these over here are more apricot, but then they're getting darker as they've been out longer. Is that not too fun? I am definitely going to be dividing this and putting it other places in the garden. It's got a little bit of purple something behind it. Look how gorgeous that is. And I love the fern-like plants. I don't know why I've never grown yarrow before. You look, this one's even a different color. And then there's this one, which is super lovely. actually the whole thing together is lovely, but look at the shades. How different they are. I'm excited. And I have this little bird statue thingy with the ball stuck in them, which looks so lovely. Now this one, I also got a little white thing coming out of it, is a Sassy Summer Taffy. And it's supposed to be pink, and I'm almost certain it was pink when it first bloomed. It's older. It's actually my first Yarrow. But if you look at it, it's kind of got an orange color to it. These are still green. They're going to be all budding out real soon. I've been waiting to film this. So that is something I really have liked about the Yarrow is the first ones to bloom, the yellow ones are still blooming, but these are blooming at a different time. So if you buy them and you buy different varieties, they bloom at different times. So you can keep your garden in color. For instance, here's one right next to that one actually that I also bought on Etsy. Look at the size of that one. Look at the size of that one. But this one's lovely. And over here in the garden bed is the same variety. It's Little Moonshine, and it was the first to bloom, and it's still blooming, and it's much shorter. So they come in different heights, and the colors here with it, from the beautiful Yarrow, I've got some bee balm going on, some coreopsis, some roses, some salvia. Oh, all the colors are just gorgeous. I have been waiting so long for this to bloom so I could finish this video. And it's so close, and it's just so close. This one we already looked at, and you can see it's now turned all orange. This one is a little bit of orange. This one has a little bit more of orange. That's what they look like when they're starting to come out, and they've been that way for a while. Very slow growing. And this one is gorgeous. It's my favorite. We've already looked at it, but I thought I'd look at it again a few weeks later. I love how you have a darker pink and a lighter pink and even a lighter pink. Just gorgeousness. And this yellow one's been blooming a long time. This one got kind of beat down by the rain, but I put these together thinking they would look good, and I didn't pay any attention to the difference in height. This one's grown really fast, that one hasn't. It's very interesting. I don't think they're going to continue to stay together. I'm definitely going to propagate these. And I do like these two. These are the Desert Eve Deep Rose Yarrow, and they're staying small. But look at the colors. They're like got little yellow centers to each little flower. Then you move over to this one, not blooming yet. And this one, I don't know if that's newer or older. And there's another, let's see, stage of it there. Funny.